Welcome to part 1 of our Arctic adventure, where we'll be asking, is a 4-day break in Tromsø worth it? What do you say, Wills?
The reindeer sleigh ride we're going to go on has been cancelled.
Oh dear, this isn't a great start. But if you like stunning views, northern lights and reindeers in a field, stay tuned as there's plenty packed into this one. If you don't know us, I'm Rachel, he's Wills, and we are Postcard and a Pint. Let the adventure begin. But all adventures start somewhere, and ours started with Manchester and EasyJet. As we flew north, the sun got lower and lower until it was no more. Cheers. A short 3 hours later, we were landing in Tromsø, ready for our Arctic adventure to begin. We went for the easy option and grabbed a taxi to our hotel. It costs around £20, and as you can see, we've arrived in Tromsø, 69 degrees north of the Arctic Circle.
Oh.
Will's first time in Norway and north of the Arctic Circle.
It is indeed.
But there's no snow. It actually feels quite warm here. It feels about the same as at home.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, so all that thermal stuff that we've bought, I don't know, maybe we will need it over the next few days.
Sure we will.
Our hotel room is snug.
It is a bit snug.
It's very snug.
It's got one of those beds next to the wall,
but
which we don't
we'll
like.
make it work. It was cheap by Norway standards. So we're going to head out now and get our first glimpse and look around Tromsø. Really. It was pretty chilly, and Wills could smell Christmas and snow in the air. Our hotel was just a 5-minute walk from Tromsø Cathedral, and here it started to feel very festive. We had a good look around and were excited to see things we'd be trying over the next few days. But then, in true Postcard and a Pint style, we found a pub and went in.
We've just stopped in a lovely little pub. I've got a lager. It's 1877 something Pilsner. It's really, really good.
Even I went for a beer, and it was delicious. This bar is called Rulebua, and if you don't behave, the polar bear will get you. We decided that this would be our Tromsø local. We walked down the main street, and it might be March, but someone was feeling festive. And then 5 minutes later, what happens, Rach? Night 1 and northern lights are out. You can just about see them with the naked eye. They come out better, much better on iPhone. We'll stick a few pictures over the top of this, but so happy we've seen them already. Not too shabby for night 1, eh? But do stay tuned if you want more northern lights, and definitely check out next week's video. We both managed to get a picture with the lights, so we were happy. But now it's getting late and we're starving. It's been a while since the EasyJet cheese toasty. McDonald's, please tell me you're not going to McDonald's. Rach? Now, we wouldn't normally come into McDonald's, but this is the most northern McDonald's in the world, so it was worth the trip. And you even get, or we've got, a card to show that. How cool. So Postcard and a Pint has been to the world's most northern Mackie D's. Now it was back to the hotel via the 7-Eleven, as it was
bedtime.
What will tomorrow bring?
Morning!
It's our first full day in Tromsø. There's not a cloud in the sky at the moment. And
That's not going to change.
I slept really, really well.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, was it?
Wills has had his first disappointment.
First off, I still can't talk, which is why I sound like this. But yeah, got an email this morning. God, that sounds ridiculous. The reindeer sleigh ride we're going to go on has been cancelled.
We're still going to the reindeers. We're still going to go and feed the reindeers, learn about the Sami people, but there hasn't been enough snow.
Basically, it's been raining, so the snow they did have has all melted and turned to ice, and it's too dangerous for the reindeers to go on the ice.
So he won't be Santa. You can be Santa. You can be Santa tending your reindeer. But this morning we're going on a city tour. We found this off another YouTube video. Free city tour. They do recommend you tip at the end, so it's not free. But it's a 2-hour walking tour. We're going to learn all about the city. Open the windows this morning and just can see snow-capped mountains everywhere. Lovely. I'll pop a few shots on now. But we're so excited to spend our first day in the Arctic. Here's to a full day of exploring. It was nice to see the city in the daylight, but before we got going, first stop was to be breakfast at the Bakstube. Well, it looks lovely. Plenty of coffee and pastries. How did you get on?
We didn't do the best. Rachel spilt the coffee. First we got the wrong coffee, then Rachel spilt that coffee. Can't take us out anywhere.
So drinking a latte whilst wearing an Americano it was. Breakfast was lovely, but let's get out of here. We've embarrassed ourselves. Ah, that's better. We must say the Arctic air was incredible, and if this doesn't shift Will's cold, nothing will. Our city tour started from the cathedral, which incidentally is open to the public every Tuesday and Friday, but today was Wednesday. Ready for your tour, kids? Let's go. Our guide was called Maurizio, and we followed him like good little Norwegian sheep into the city. We learnt about Tromso's history, some opera singer who turned artist during COVID times. This was also a handy shortcut down to the front. We also learnt about the architecture.
If you can point out some houses, you will find like most of them, they are still the same. Those houses just around here, they are from the middle part of the 19th century.
You may think that Maurizio doesn't sound very Norwegian. That is because he is in fact Argentinian, but loves the snow and northern lights so much he moved here. More facts please, Maurizio.
And here in the back part is from the 1827. All the wood like we can see in the roof is completely original. Nothing have changed.
Are you paying attention, Rach? No, you're not. You're playing with Christmas decorations. Put them down and keep up with the tour. We will definitely be back to this shop. It had a reindeer and everything. Next, it was down to the front to learn about fishing and Arctic expeditions and why this industry is so important to Tromsø. There's even a free fish museum you can go in. Oh my God!
This is the king crab. I don't know if you have been eating the king crab.
I was in heaven, Wills was in hell, but he did try.
Whale meat. It's all right. Yeah.
I don't know what it tastes of.
It's like biltong, isn't it?
Yes, salami. It was in fact fantastic, but a bit fishy. Back outside, we saw the Polar Museum and watched crazy people swim in the fjord off this sauna boat. We quite fancy to go, to be honest. Then, behind the Polar Museum, you'll find the oldest house in Tromsø on top of an old medieval mound. This is Roald Amundsen, Norwegian explorer and the first fella to reach both the North and South Poles. A lot of the street art in Tromsø celebrates the female explorers, scientists and basically groundbreaking women. This tour was such a great thing to do on our first day. We quickly learnt the geography of the city and some interesting facts along the way. This is one of Tromsø's most photographed sites, the Rocket, famous for its reindeer hot dogs. I don't think we ever saw it without a queue outside. We were on to our last few sites now. This is the library, which is such a striking building. Our tour finished back in the main street and inside this gift shop, which also has a free cinema showing a short film about Norway and Tromsø. Don't knock it, it was nice to sit down. Yes, Norway is stunningly beautiful, and it definitely won't be our last visit. But the tour was over and it was time to find some lunch. I'd spied a gorgeous looking Norwegian cafe, but there were no tables, maybe another day. So we headed back towards the old fort, as we'd seen a cafe there too.
Cute little houses, aren't they? This is cute.
Oh, this is going to be gorgeous.
Go on.
And it was gorgeous. Just a few tables and a roaring log fire. Some Arctic water, a hot chocolate, and guess who had a beer? Then it was fresh shrimp for me, which I love, and an omelette for Wills. Give us your verdict, Rach.
Well, that was delicious. It's been on my list for years to have fresh prawns out of a fjord again. It's something I used to do whenever we docked in Bergen. I've just counted it up. That was 30 years ago. But I'm back, I'm in Norway, and I'm a prawn eater.
And I had omelette and beer.
We've not even been here for 24 hours yet, but we love this place. It is breathtakingly beautiful. Next, we walked the old harbour wall out to the lighthouse. It's a strange-looking lighthouse, but it gives you great views down the fjord. There was a Hurtigruten ship in nearly every other day. This beautiful arch is called Gateway to the Arctic, and it frames the Arctic Cathedral perfectly. What's next?
Now we're off to try and find a bar.
Some things never change, but we thought that postcards and a pint should definitely visit Tromsø's oldest bar. And it's attached to the brewery that brew the beer. This is Ulhallen. It opened in 1928 and we're going in. They serve 72 different beers here, including all of the Mack Brewery's beers. Beer flights. Not today, as one doesn't want to be drunk in charge of reindeer, but I have a feeling we'll be back here. Cheers! Now what's next?
We've popped back to the hotel. What a fantastic morning and early afternoon. Brilliant tour. Lovely. God, it's beautiful here. It is so, so beautiful. We're going to put a few things on charge now, have a little time out, and then it's time to meet some reindeers.
I honestly couldn't wait for this experience. Our pickup point was at the bus station by the port. Then we were on our way. The first thing we did was to assemble in the big tent, warm ourselves by the fire, and then learn all about the reindeer and Sami people. And on this farm they have
300 reindeer, and this will be their last meal of the day, so you have to feed them all.
Let me out there. I will personally feed each and every one and make friends for life. They offer you spikes to use free of charge, and then it was time to grab our buckets of pellets and to meet these beautiful animals. We'd been told how to hold the buckets to avoid getting ambushed, as these chaps were hungry and persistent. And who's in their element? That would be me. And how's Santa Wills getting on?
It's not for stopping, that one.
Wills had found a very hungry reindeer.
Good lad.
They were all good lads and lasses, and we had the time of our lives. Once your bucket of food is finished, you can go and get another. I think we went through 3 each and were 2 of the last people out there. There was a definite hierarchy amongst the herd, and often the older and more bolshy reindeer would push in. But I wasn't standing for any of that behaviour, was I, Timothy Reindeer?
No, don't do bullies.
I do.
That one.
Yes, Wills was friends with all of them. I loved petting the reindeer. Wills tried to pet this one, but almost got antlers in his unmentionables. Ooh, it was time for a reindeer selfie. We could have stayed out there all night. Their little munchy noises were so cute. But I think we'd completed the task and all 300 reindeer were now fed. It was time to move inside and warm ourselves by the fire. Did you enjoy yourselves? I think we know the answer to that.
That was so cool feeding them. What beautiful, beautiful animals. There's a lot of bullying going on with the old horn things out there, and the babies are just gorgeous. They get bullied a lot by the adults. But what a really, really cool experience. We're now inside the food hut waiting for a 3-course meal.
We warmed up with a hot chocolate. Then it was salad with salmon, or if you will, without. Next was reindeer stew, which did feel a bit wrong, but the reindeer are part of life for the Sami people, so we embraced our inner Sami and went for it. And then...
They've just told us you can see the northern lights outside, so we're all going outside to have a look.
It was beautiful to see this over a snowy field full of reindeer, but it wasn't the brightest display. Hopefully, chocolate brownie and blueberries will make up for it, Wills. Once we were done, we headed outside to reflect on the evening.
We're sat outside by a campfire after a lovely meal, and we're going to go listen about some Sami culture soon. The Northern Lights have been out a little bit. It wasn't as strong as last night, but it's been a lovely experience.
Then it was back to the first tent to grab a seat right by the fire.
A nice bit of cheese from my neighbor town. Both genders have antlers, which I also think is pretty cool. And the ones you saw with no antlers now are the males, because the males lose them in winter and they grow new ones in summer.
So what you're actually saying is Santa's sleigh was pulled by an all-female team. That sounds about right. Next up was some traditional Sami singing known as yoik.
Hey, ole, la, la, le, lo.
Then we all had a go.
Hey, ole, la, le, lo, le, lo, le, lo, ah. Hey, ole, la, le, lo, le, lo, ah.
And we did a cracking job. Bye-bye, beautiful reindeers. It was a pleasure to meet you, but now it was time to go home. It had been a 5-hour experience, and we finished the evening off at our local reminiscing all things reindeer. Cheers. But that that's only part 1. Tune in next week to see stunning views, lots of snow and more northern lights than you can shake a stick at. We're only 2 days in and I think we're well on the way to answering the question, is a 4-day break in Tromsø worth it? We'd fly here just for the day to see Timothy Reindeer, and Timothy Reindeer would just like to say, if you'd like this video and drop us a comment, that would be lush. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, why not? It's free to do. We've been Postcard and a Pint. Cheers!
I've just been to Tromso.
Norway?
Yeah, really?
Oh,